Forces loyal to Libya's eastern government to secure major oil ports and fields to protect them in a move to restart crude production. Zimbabwe's consumer prices declined to 1.60% year-on-year in July. And in the UK, the inflation rate rises to 0.6% in July. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Business Incorporated live from Lagos. I'm Chimize Obi Iwago. Well, we'll begin with the UK's inflation rate, which has risen to 0.6% in July. That compares with a rate of 0.5% in June. Inflation, as measured by the Retail Prices Index, picked up to 1.9% in July from the previous month's rate of 1.6%. July's RPI inflation rate sets the cap for how much regulated rail fares in England, Scotland and Wales can rise by next year. Separate figures from the ONS suggested that the fall in the value of the pound since the UK's referendum vote to leave the EU had increased the cost of imports for manufacturers. Import prices faced by manufacturers rose 4.3% in the year to July, compared with a fall of 0.5% in the year to June. And the world's largest mining firm, BHP Billiton, has reported a record loss for the past year following a mining disaster in Brazil and a slump in commodity prices. The Anglo-Australian commodities firm reported an annual net loss of $6.4 billion for the year to June 30. The global mining sector has seen years of weak demand, attributed largely to slowing growth in China. BHP results were also hit by costs after the Samarco mining disaster in Brazil, which killed 19 people. The record losses come after the company had reported a $1.9 billion net profit. And how are the markets in Europe reacting to these figures? Let's cross over to Frankfurt. My colleague there, Conrad Bussen, is waiting to tell us. Good afternoon, Conrad. Good to have you on the program. Now, the UK July inflation figure has just been released, and it indicates a rise to 0.6% from 0.5% in June. How's the market chewing this data coming out from the UK, coupled with a record loss posted by BHP Billiton?
Well, the market in London is on the downside. Also, the German DAX here is losing somewhat. It's coming down from its all-year high it had reached yesterday. What do these inflation numbers from the United Kingdom mean? The increase at 0.6%. If this is going to continue, the United Kingdom is likely to reach 2% inflation on a yearly basis, and even a bit more than that. And you hinted to the import prices that UK importers have to pay at the moment. Those prices are rising, and they are likely to try to put the price increases upon their customers, so the Britons, the people who go shopping in the United Kingdom, they will get to feel higher inflation very soon. BHP Billiton, of course, the company had to suffer from a slowdown in demand, especially from China. Also, you mentioned the scandal in Brazil, the problems that BHP Billiton there with 19 people dead, that costs a lot of money too. So, of course, the way that BHP Billiton is seen on the markets is much, much more critical than in boom times about a year ago or 2 years ago.
Now, Germany's central bank, the Bundesbank, has come out in favor of reducing the overall tax burden for Germans, and it's also proposing retirement age of 69 from the current 65. What is the talk out there in the market concerning this? Why is the central bank coming up with these measures at this time?
Well, you should consider all these things during good economic times, and we have good and strong economic times in Germany at the moment. When, if not now, should we think about what's happening in maybe 30, 40, 50 years to come, when we all will be depending on retirement plans, and will there be enough money then? If you follow the German state pension system, we all will not get enough money starting from 67. This is where at the latest we have to start working at the moment. We'll have to, save money next to that. But the problem is that for savings at the moment, you don't get a lot of interest payment.
Now, talking about this retirement plan, we've seen Germany's carrier, that's Lufthansa's talks with pilots union have broken down after months of negotiation, and one of the issues there has to do with retirement age. Although pilots want Lufthansa to raise pilots' age for earlier retirement from 55 to 58. Do you see Lufthansa agreeing to this eventually? That's if the Bundesbank proposal of raising retirement age sails through.
Well, the Bundesbank thinking about the retirement age to go up to 70, and Lufthansa discussing the retirement age of its pilots to go up to 58. There you see how outrageous this conflict is at Lufthansa. It's completely out of time. People here are saying that the pilots at Lufthansa should stop working at the age of 58. This is going to change. We're all going to see this. They are probably going to fly longer than they used to be in the past. These, privileged times for Lufthansa's pilots are over, and we are going to see results in the negotiations there, as probably as early as this fall.
Well, I guess this is a personal question, Conrad, but I choose to ask, would you rather work till the age of 69? I'm just wondering.
Well, I wouldn't mind working until 65, 70 or whatever if work is still fun. And I have to say, working with you in Nigeria is a lot of fun.
Sure. Well, for me, once it's there's good health, why not? Well, thank you for your time, Conrad. Do have a wonderful day. Conrad Busen there, DWTV, Channels TV correspondent. Now we move on now to Japan. The Nikkei's 225 index fell more than 1% as a rise in the value of the yen hit exporter shares. The benchmark Nikkei 225 index closed down 1.6%. And then going down to China, stocks there opened higher on hopes that a launch date of a new trading link between Shenzhen and Hong Kong will be announced soon. However, shares then reversed direction in afternoon trade. Hong Kong's Hang Seng ended the day flat at 22,910.84, while the Shanghai Composite closed 0.5% lower. South Korea's Kospi index ended 0.1% lower as it resumed trading after a holiday on Monday. Australia's S&P ASX 200 also lost 0.1% to close at 5,532.00, while New Zealand's S&P NSX 50 index fell more than 1% to finish at 7,310.67. And looking at precious metal market there, gold rose for a second day today as the dollar weakened on lower expectations of a U.S. Federal Reserve interest rate hike this year. Our spot gold was up about 0.7% at 1,348.86 an ounce in early trade. The metal rose 0.2% on Monday. U.S. gold rose 0.5% to 1,354.70 an ounce. Markets will look to U.S. data later in the day, including consumer prices, housing starts, and industrial output, for another chance to gauge the health of the economy. And Indonesian airlines have been cleared to begin flying to the U.S. after a safety review by regulators of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration said Indonesia had been upgraded to Category 1, the top-tier air safety rating, after nearly a decade. Indonesia's fast-growing aviation market suffered several high-profile accidents and was downgraded in 2007. Now, the European Union also recently lifted a ban on 3 Indonesian airlines. According to the FAA, after a safety review in March, Indonesia now complies with International Civil Aviation Organization safety standards. Well, we'll take a quick break now. When we return, we continue with the program. To stay with us.